recording?
You think these so-called event organizers have actually been up there? Big air? It's kind of an understatement. It's more like monster, more like killer monster. It's like killer monster hair, different, really scary killer monster hair from some monster.
Suspect's vehicle has been located. Details have been sent.
Oh, just shit. I should have known, Josh. This is how I finally die. I should have known, Josh. This is, Josh. I can finally die. Just too
Perpendiculous.
like I've never seen a more botched get away. It was so bombastically sabotaged. That was too much. Everyone is damn for that. I am damn for that one. His journey's great when people says you're not a good getaway driver. I don't know. He said you were a getaway driver. It says it's their fantasy to do that. Oh, it's not just a race. Oh, street race. Oh, in this day, right? Oh, we held that then. Oh no, there too. It was. Oh no. Oh, that's how I don't know that judges don't care.
I heard earlier there's some pretty funky big challenges on that ride. Should be interesting.
The dumb
Tell me
thing
if you
I
have a hard
didn't
time
do
picturing
that.
this.
Okay.
Riding,
You didn't do that, Josh. Like, it's sad. These events, they're hard to find. I mean, these are just so difficult. I mean, we're gonna find one so quickly. This is an outrage, Josh. We need an event. When are we going to find one, Josh? Like, no, if you stop the car and start an event now, we're not down. Okay. Yeah, just start the car and start the, yeah. You're being chased by that guy. I want you to chase that one and shoot at it for no reason. I need you to do it. There's something that I need from this. This is an event, Josh. You don't have one. Yes, that's the event. Just let's go for it. It's everyone wants to be hit by the car. Everyone just wants to be hit by the car, Josh.
We have an old 211 in Westbrook. Any units in the area? Come in.
It's so dumb. Like some stupid. It's so insidious. Oh, I thought it. Oh no, Josh. It's too legendary already, Josh. It's way too legendary. No. It was totally preposterous. It was the most preposterous. Josh, you have to stop chasing that car. Or we're just down, okay? Alright.
Suspect has disappeared. All units on site. Continue searching the area.
There's a bit of Metro City breakdown action going on. And now let me explain to you how this is. If you become a pro, you get some perks. If you become an SSX pro, you get whole courses to free ride. Not bad, huh? Free ride in Peak 1's Metro City breakdown.
Repeat code 0 in this area. All units resume
No, Josh. No, Josh. I am so... No, Josh. That's all three of them. She's good. Yeah, all three. No, Josh. No, Josh. No, Josh. No, Josh. No, Josh. We're having a very long ass-to-face conversation. Very soon about that, Josh. Not that kind. You're not lucky. I'm lying my ass off. Nah. I'm trying to clear it now. If you don't start talking like a hardened murderer or something. I know that side exists. It does. Just want that side and just
find
You
the
just
free
want to
riding
like talk to
weekend
that
too.
side
Free.
only for
Take
some
on a big
reason.
challenge or two. Free riding a big air track
Or
like
like,
deep ones
so to
for
speak,
really
or
fast
like
is like
whatever,
having a
dude.
set of killer ramps in your
Like, yeah,
backyard.
like,
That is, you know, if
okay.
your backyard has big challenges
Yeah,
scheduled
you got a little
and
something out of
elevation
that.
that
It's
reduces
like,
any impediments to your
is
space.
like, is that what you mean? Like,
Free ride sessions
yeah, that. Like, I don't want to talk to that. Okay. It's always there. Anyways, I'm just damn.
There's a couple big challenges on it too. Free riding is the snowboard equivalent of soul surfing. Riding the backcountry track happiness
This is so
wouldn't be the same as
bombastic.
discovering and riding
Everyone
an
just
isolated
died
surf break, you know what I'm saying?
perceiving me.
So we'll be the equivalent of happiness's big challenges. Sharks,
The event was
running on hot
completed.
sand, broken
It
glass,
was fine.
something
It's
like
about what I
that.
thought
Alright, a
it'd
little
be.
recap for those of you
Totally
who missed
insane,
out
but
on the
fine.
latest snow jam
Like,
race. Tricks.
yeah.
Okay? Big
Like,
old F-16 pulling high G dogfight tricks. I've been around the SSX circuit since day one.
Please handle
That was one
that
of the
sometime.
wildest rides I've ever seen.
No, the
All
other
right, the
thing.
big air action up on Crow's Nest was what industry experts would call a milestone. As in, it set the bar for all tricks in the future, man. For us everyday board-loving simple folk,
Yeah.
it was downright inspiring. Okay, for those of you just tuning in, the big air event
That's
over on Crow's Nest just wrapped up,
an
and if you
airstrike,
missed it, you missed the hands-down best display of tricks I think that I've probably ever seen. I don't think these riders are actually human. I got a feeling. Tonight's Superpipe action came straight from Dysfunction Junction.
Oh, that was actually. It was so damned. Josh! That was the most damned.
When the event organizers called the pipe a super pipe, they weren't kidding, man. Massive walls means massive tricks. And that is exactly what we saw. Unbelievable. Okay, people, even if you were in the nosebleed section of Dysfunction Junction tonight, you couldn't have missed the tricks that were being pulled. These competitors, they're just on another plane when it comes to focus. They're just amazing. Okay, Ruthless Ridge was where some supersonic race action was happening today. Somehow, competitors managed to navigate those insane cliffs to an amazing finish, and to top it all off, judges handed out some of the highest trick scores we've seen yet. Okay, the Snow Jam race event just finished, and the tricks being thrown down put every other snowboard circuit on the globe to shame. When you're talking SSX, shaming other circuits, you know, it's kind of a no-brainer, I guess. Yeah, I personally believe Schizophrenia is one of the more unique superpipes around. The way it snakes in on itself, the size of the walls, perfect, you know. Seems some SSX riders thought so too. The tricks they were pulling, we're witnessing legends here, people. Legends. Okay, what can I tell you? Schizophrenia is world-renowned for being the super pipe of all super pipes. So why was everyone so surprised at the amount of tricks pulled today? I think the surprise was over the quality. Big-time trick scores. Huge. Massive. Beautiful. You know, it's just like I always said. Schizophrenia is the super pipe riders don't just ride, they assault. I've seen it. I've sort of ridden it. So when you see the SSX crew pulling tricks like they were today, you better be giving them the respect they deserve. Gratitude is what you call a scary place. All the ice crevices come on. So when you see SSX competitors racing down at full tilt and pulling off tricks like we went on today, you know you're watching the best around. Everything else is substandard. Okay, y'all, at the speed riders were traveling today, I was surprised anybody caught anything. But we're around the mountain. Today's trick scores on Gratitude were, well, let's just say if there's dollars attached to these points, there are some very happy riders around. All right, watching Gratitude's race action through Radio Big's mountain cams, just not cutting it for me anymore. The kind of tricks that were happening, you have to see it to believe it. Big tricks going on. Get up there, see it for yourself, baby. Okay, people, what I just caught on my trusty mountain cams was one of the most kick-butt, trick-heavy races I've seen in a long time. Riders turn Snow Jam into a chip fest, and if that's an indication of what's in store for this mountain, I'm so in, baby. Okay, for those of you just tuning in, the SSX action on Metro City Breakdown went on tonight. Every time you looked up, another rider was pulling some sort of spine-bending, brain-twisting trick. Man, that is just the
Okay,
way it
this
ought to
feels like
be.
a
A little bit of race action was going fast
going
and
down on this
furious
video,
over
please.
on Metro
Sorry.
City Breakdown
Because
tonight.
I'm gonna become
The
an
amount of
evil
tricks
talking
being
to you.
fired off by
Because I
competitors was
think I am,
rapid,
I don't know. Like,
turbocentric, and
this
downright
talent, I
epic,
know
baby.
that. Like,
Keep your eyes
it's
peeled
like
for
fucking
more.
like just
Okay,
beyond
all right,
whatever
okay.
that could be.
I know the Metro
I
City
mean, right
Breakdown
now,
track was
there's
supposed
nothing
to be a
here.
race
I
event,
swear to
but
fuck.
man, I don't know,
I'm
maybe it was something in the air,
I'm
or
tired
maybe
of
there's something in the
what
water, I
exists.
don't know what, but it
I
was
know, I
complete
only
and
know
utter trick
beating
showdown
their
out
ass.
there.
Oh.
Very nice.
I mean, like, that's what happened. I've been beating their ass
There was
forever.
any indication of what's in store for SSX fans, it's going to be an
Where to go on
absolutely
this damn
legendary circuit this year. With the type of tricks that I saw going on, this is the kind of event that makes heroes out of riders. You know, you take a slopestyle event anywhere else in the world and tell the riders to do a bunch of tricks, you probably get, you know, at the least something cool. The tricks on R&B today, mind-blowing. There's something wild going on here, man. Believe me. All right, here's the latest update from the slopestyle that just happened up on Peak One's R&B. It was basically a how-to demonstration for those of us who are trick pullable denied. Okay? You gotta see this stuff, man. This is unreal. You know, I'll tell you what's great about the SSX circuit. You show up to catch a big air event like what went down today on the Crow's Nest, and you end up watching trick history being made, man. I'm loving this too for one stuff. You know, Ruthless Ridge was where the SSX circuit got down to some serious racing today. Not only were riders pushing the sound barrier, but what was with those tricks, man? One after another. Tricks I've never even heard of. You gotta catch this action, don't miss it. Okay, y'all, Intimidator was where the SSX circuit moved into ludicrous speed today. The course offers a little bit of everything, and obviously a perfect setting for tricks. Riders were pulling magic out of their butts today.
I know this could be really
You
horrible.
gotta love it when they do that. It's so pretty. Okay. When I heard they were planning to stage a race on P2's Intimidator, I suddenly had these
They just feel they can. They just consent. But they think they do, right? Right. They're down. You just said they
some of the craziest tricks being pulled I've ever seen. I love it when the circuit comes to town. After watching the impressive amounts of tricks that happened over on Intimidator today, event organizers, take note. Build your jumps big. Set them up so everyone can view the goods. And keep a few gap jumps around, you know, just for fun. All through the style mode today, SSX riders were giving fans exactly what they wanted. It was a trick fest. Every time somebody pulled something, someone else outdid them a second later. Now that is just the way it should be, you know what I'm saying? All right, spectators up on Peak 2's style mile definitely got their lift tickets worth today. The slope style, even the free ride and the warm-up sessions were going on with competitors trying out tricks that haven't even been invented yet. Keep your eyes open for more. Okay, y'all, from what I've heard and seen on Radio Big's Mountain Camps, Peak 2's style mile will be known from now on as Trick Central.
It's only as bad as they want it. I know
hope
that.
the boys from Frozen Films got that action today. It was definitely something special. Launch time was the stage for the most impressive displays of trick mastery I think I've probably ever seen. You know, I find it hard to believe the competitors can walk. Never mind do another event after what went on there today. I guess that's why they get paid the big bucks. I'm telling you, man, these mountain cams are great. I've been sitting here going over and over the footage from Peak 2's lunchtime big air event. Pushing the envelope is putting it mildly for how many tricks were being done up there. Let me know if you want to borrow the tape. I highly recommend it. You know, I don't know what's going on amongst the SSX riders these days, but something is making them pull tricks like never before, man. P2's lunchtime was nothing but trick after trick after mind-blowing trick, whatever's going on. I hope it continues. Okay, people, Kicked Out is absolutely one of the most difficult tracks event organizers have ever put together. The fact that SSX competitors pounded it today with tricks, it just tells you what caliber riding is at around here. Stick around for more. Okay, as far as slopestyle courses go, Kicked Out will go down in SSX track history as something to be feared and respected. What went on there today, trick-wise? Trust me, people will be talking about those scores for years. Well, I missed it. Kicked Out's mountain cam was on the fritz, and by the time it was up and going, the slopestyle event was over, and wouldn't you know it, once in a lifetime trick scores were handed out. Man, I always missed the good stuff. You know, I knew when things moved up to Peak 3, the level of riding would jump into, you know, the insane zone. On Much Too Much's big air event, riders were pulling tricks like they were going on sale, baby. More is definitely on the way. Well, although much of Peak 3 was without crowds today, riders were committing themselves to a brilliant display of talent on Much Too Much. Despite threats of whiteouts, avalanches, and natural disasters, the trick scores, awesome. Well, I said it was going to be legendary. And it was. Much Too Much on Peak 3 was host to the latest big air event. The SSX Elite pulled out all the tricks and showed why they do what no one else can do. I think the SSX sponsors are in a happy place today from what went down on Peak 3's Perpendiculous. The snowboard industry and media were buzzing about not only the trick scores, but the level of risk in the performance. Normal people also enjoyed it. Well, it was a long, cold, and some would say dangerous trek to get up to Peak 3's Perpendiculous, but man, it was worth it. Riders were leaving spectators speechless with their tricks and judges feeling generous with their scores. Wicked, baby. You know, the way I see it, if you're gonna go for gold on something like Peak 3's Perpendiculous, go well past it. SSX riders secured themselves a spot in snowboard history today with a collection of tricks that may never be outdone. Seems like everyone I know is riding hard today. Everyone but me, of course. Yeah, well, you know, stuck in the studio. At least the music's good. Here's a little basement jacks. If you're looking to add something new to your collection after getting all your boy band stuff stolen, and I know how that feels, give this track from the Basement Jacks a listen. I've been a fan of these guys ever since Nate Logan turned me onto them. This particular tune is perfect for riding for. This Basement Jacks. If you're riding with your bros, getting trophy shots, and turning your legs into jelly, here's some Placebo. Gonna make it even better. Now here's a little Placebo coming your way. I'm sure you've all heard the jokes. Makes you feel better. Good for your ears. Yada, yada, yada. We here at Radio Big, we don't like making fun of people. So, you know, we won't, except maybe Vigo. But, you know, he has it coming. Some of my buddies over at EA turned me onto this, but, well, I say buddies. Not really buddies, you know what I'm saying? Video game geeks and all. But this band rocks. Here's Placebo. I caught this group live a little while ago. Great show. Lots of energy. They seem a really cool bunch of guys, you know, from about, 150 rows back. Here's Finger 11. Here's some Finger 11 to add to that mountain experience you're all enjoying right now. Does anybody work around here other than me? Hello? I didn't think so. Just took a little look around the mountain with Radio Big's mountain cams. As usual, things are looking wicked. Here's some Finger 11 to keep the stoke going. Okay, y'all, let's see. We got, here we got a little Executioners to get you all going. There's some Swollen Members coming up for you. For all those riders out there enjoying the Alpine, here's the Swollen Members and Utah Saints. All right, we got a little Swollen Members now remixed by the Utah Saints, going out by request for Kaori Nishidaki. It's time for some Swollen Members and Utah Saints. The Alpine Stars are up next to give a little slope-side grooving. Just got a call from SSX champ Mac Fraser, asking for some Alpine Stars action. Here you go, Mac. We've got some Executioners here going out to newcomer Allegra Sauvages. What a hottie. I'm a Robot is up next right here, going out to all those lucky enough to be listening to me and riding out there. I just got off the phone with Swede superstar Vigo Rolig asking for some I'm a Robot, and here they are. How about a little I'm a Robot, people? Yeah? Yeah, I thought so. Here we go. How about some Aphrodite, y'all, just to make, another perfect day just that little bit better. Aphrodite, by request, for Zoe Payne. Enjoy it while you can, some Aphrodite for your listening pleasure. And here's the latest from the Executioners. If you haven't heard of these guys, boy, you are gonna. Here's the latest from Johnny Morgan. I sure hope you love this tune as much as I do, baby. Johnny Morgan's playing the Day Shack today. Here's a little preview to get you in the mood. When you need to ride, this is what you need to listen to. Here's a little Johnny Morgan. It's all about the perfect riding tunes as far as I'm concerned. Little Johnny Morgan coming your way. Here's the latest from Audio Bullies. Here's a little Audio Bullies to keep you going. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, some Executioners for your listening pleasure. Hope you're enjoying the perfect weather today. Here's a little Overseer. Sophia up on P2 just called us up. She's looking to hear a little bit of Overseer. Here you go, baby. I just happened to be listening to these guys last time I was riding. Here comes a little Overseer. I thought I lost this CD. Here's some Yellow Card. You need a bit of a boost to ride to? Yellow Card always works for me. You can't ride and not have some Yellow Card. I got you covered. Here's the Executioners to help you on your way. Riders, beware. What makes a good day perfect? Good question. How about the legendary Jane's Addiction? Wouldn't be a day on the slopes without a little Jane's Addiction. Enjoy, people. Jane's Addiction up next. You know, I spoil you guys. Gonna hit you up right now with a wicked track from Jay's Addiction. When you need the perfect soundtrack.
Just do
Jay's
that
Addiction. I
yourself.
was just listening to these guys on the way over here. Little dilated peoples. So, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, did anybody feel like riding to a little Red Hot Chili Peppers? Here they are, with the Executioners. You know, everyone needs some chaos in their lives. Fortunately, up here, there's more than enough to go around. Have a listen. This one's going out to SSX competitor Release Riggs. The Red Hot Chili Peppers, remixed by the Executioners. Well, here's a perfect riding combination. The Red Hot Chili Peppers, remixed by the Executioners. Little something from the Canadian band, the Swollen Members. This one's by request, the Swollen Members going out to competitor Griff Simmons. You know, it's always a good time for some Alpine stars. And here they are. From me to you, baby, NERD with some help from Jason Evans. This one's going out to Moby Jones. A bit of NERD, also known as the Neptunes, mixed by Jason Evans. It's time for some NERD and Jason Evans. All right, well, now let's some Caesars to help you through this day. We just got a request from SSX Powerhouse, Nate Logan. The man wants some Caesars, and here they are. I got the latest coming up for you right now, folks, from the Caesars. I got a request going out to TG up on Peak 1 for something from the band Kinky.
Do you
Got a
need like
request
a
here,
central
Simon
tacky?
Stark
No.
asking for something good to write to from the band Kinky.
I was
We got a
about to say,
little Kinky
we're
right here,
damned.
going
I
out
don't
to
know.
all of those tuning in to Radio
This
Bacon.
is
You
a
know,
weird
I
job.
kind of feel I'm in the mood for
This
some
is
Andy
no
Hunter.
over
I guess that means you are too.
Yeah, she's much
Here you
better,
go.
much
Howard
younger.
P just buzzed the station
how
asking
weird
for
this
some
is?
Andy Hunter. Party on, Pete. There's a
Yeah.
hit track from longtime cool guy Andy Hunter
Yeah,
coming your way.
yeah,
There's a little
yeah.
Deep Sky coming your way from my turntable to your eardrums. Here's a little Deep Sky going out to that nasty ski patroller LG up on P3. Time to chill, sweetheart. Here we go with some Deep Sky to get y'all going. Rob down from Robin Bob's Board Shop just called asking for some Dan the Automator. Here you go, Robbie. And now get back to work. Here's the latest from Dan the Automator. Listen to this track, baby. This one rocks. Most requested artist by our SSX competitors? Without a doubt, it's Vancouverite Johnny Morgan. Here he is. There's a fat track from the steely-eyed missile man himself, Johnny Morgan. We are getting a lot of calls for this group. Here's the audio, boys. Here's a track from one of my favorites, Queens of the Stone Age, remixed by Uncle. You know what you need? Queens of the Stone Age, remixed by Uncle. Looking through my pile of music here, how about some Queens of the Stone Age, remixed by Uncle. By request, here's Felix the House Cat. There's a little something to write to. A little Felix the House Cat. I think I found just what the doctor wrote for all you sickos. Felix the House Cat. How about a little Fisher Spooner, remixed by Junkie XL. You like Fisher Spooner, folks? Cause here they come, straight at you. Remixed by Junkie XL. Okay, Fisher Spooner and Junkie XL. Perfect combo to ride to. Enjoy. Going out to Combat Tracy, a bit of Fat Boy Slim. For all the SSX nutcases out there, here's a little Fat Boy Slim. Fat Boy Slim. What more do you need? Enjoy. Okay, you know you want some. Here's the Black Eyed Peas. This is going out to Sherpa Manservant Carlo, the Black Eyed Peas. You know, we've had a few requests now for these guys, haven't we? Yeah, the Black Eyed Peas. Enjoy. This one's going out to Powder Pete. Here's a little Autopilot Off. Check it out, baby. Here's a kicking track from Autopilot Off. When I'm carving it up, I'm listening to Autopilot Off, and now so are you. Here's some Jane's Addiction for your riding pleasure. For some Holly tunes, here's the Dilated Peoples. Oh, you need something to help you tackle the mountain? Here's a little Dilated Peoples for you. Zoe Payne turned me on to these guys. Here's Thrice. Today's conditions call for some Thrice. Enjoy. Let me know if you like these guys, and I'll play them some more. Here's a little Thrice. All right. What else I got kicking around here? This mess I call my home away from home. Yes. How about a little Chemical Brothers? Time now for some hassle-free, low-fat, one-of-a-kind Chemical Brothers. Just right, with no complications. You know, I'm thinking of popping this in, hitting repeat, and grabbing my board and just going right. You know, this is the
Whatever that was, I hated for a long time. But you
it's
know
time to take it
how
up a notch music-wise.
I had this
Dig deep, people.
first
Ride it
time
out the
I
way it should be done.
doing
And
it,
just to be
weirdest
safe,
thing ever.
here's a little chaos.
Is that-
Man, dig these
that's a
guys. Totally
thing
dig
that
these guys.
happened.
First time I heard him, someone left the CD in my truck.
Weird, probably,
Bad
or
for them,
something.
good for me. Great for you. Here's a little chaos. Here you go, folks. Here's some tunes to ride to.
Yeah.
You need some tunes?
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
me too. Here we go. All right, y'all. It's time to rock. Here's some tunage. This one's going out to all y'all in MCOM land. For all y'all in MCOM land, here's some tunes. This one's going out to all you MCOM users. Don't hurt anybody with that thing. For all those riders tuning in to Radio Big on their MCOMs, here's some tunes for ya. I got all the music ingredients right here. Enjoy. You know what's missing? More tunes. Enjoy. It's time for some carving melodies coming at you. Y'all hear some sounds to get down. Here they are, baby. Big mountain music coming your way. Just when you think you've got it all. Some tunes to ride to. What's missing from a day in the mountains? Music. Here you go. You can't ride without the tunes. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Check it out. All right, here's some tunage for all those out there carving it up. Pump up the MCOM. You know what I'm saying? Here comes some tunes for you. Have you found the volume knob on your MCOM yet? It's a little dial. It's right on the side. Yeah, there you go. Here we go with some tunes, baby. Here's the inside track from the circuit. When Elise Riggs speaks, people listen. When she mouths off about having Peak 3 all wrapped up like no one else, well, she's keeping some pretty tough company these days. Stay tuned. It's time for a bit of deep in the SSX trenches talk. There's a lot of noise over yesterday's announcement from Elise Riggs. Seems the returning circuit veteran is proclaiming Peak 3 hers and no one else's. I'd like to see Elise prove that. I'm sure you would too. Stick around as this promises to get good. Here's a bit of inside info from the SSX circuit. Peak 3 has been done from top to bottom, and Elise Riggs is saying there's not an inch of this peak that she hasn't ridden or mastered. Sounds like a challenge to me. Anybody? Anybody? Hello? Somebody take her up on it. Here's a bit of inside info from the SSX circuit. Peak 3's been done from top to bottom, but Elise Riggs is saying there's not an inch of this peak that she hasn't ridden or mastered. Sounds like a challenge to me.
Thank you
Anybody?
so much for sticking it
Oh,
out.
come on, somebody take her up on it. Here's a bit of inside info on the SSX circuit. Peak 1's being tagged by Griff Simmons himself as his personal stomping grounds. Griff is challenging anyone who's going to listen to try and give him a run for his money. Anybody up to it? Hey, here's the latest from the circuit. There's a lot of noise coming from Griff Simmons concerning Peak 1. It seems Griff feels bragging rights are his and his only. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see one of the SSX competitors making Griff put his money where his mouth is. Is there anybody out there up to that challenge? Time now for a little SSX street talk. The vibe around town is Griff Simmons is getting a little big for his britches. Okay, it seems the pint-sized powerhouse feels the real estate on Peak 1 is his own personal jibbing ground. I guarantee this is going to get pretty interesting. Hey, here's a bit of inside info on the SSX circuit. Peak 1's being tagged by none other than Mac Fraser himself as his own personal stomping grounds. Now, Mac's challenging anyone who will listen to try and give him a run for his money. Anybody up for it? All right, here's the latest from the circuit. There's a lot of noise coming from the Mac Fraser camp concerning Peak 1. It seems Mac feels bragging rights are his and his only.
Which kind of
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see one of the SSX competitors making Mac put his money where his mouth is. Anybody up to that challenge? It's time now for a little SSX street talk. You know, the vibe around town is that Mac Fraser's getting a little big for his britches. Seems Mac feels the real estate on Peak 1 is his own personal jibbing ground. I guarantee this is going to get interesting. All right, here's some SSX info you won't hear anywhere else. Sounds like Rider Supreme Nate Logan was, well, mouthing off pretty loud about his mastery of Peak 2. It'll be interesting to see if anyone calls him on it. Those are big words, but, you know, he's a pretty big guy. Here's the inside track from the circuit. There's a lot of talk going around lately about Nate Logan proclaiming himself as master of Peak 2. Big talk considering the caliber of this year's talent. Wonder if anyone will, you know, take him down a notch. Here's some SSX info for those of you listening. Nate Logan's been dropping some pretty heavy statements around Peak 2, okay? Statements amounting to the fact that he, how should I say, owns the place. Kind of curious to see how the other riders feel about that. All right, here's the inside track from the circuit. When Simon Stark speaks, people generally listen. You know, when he mouths off about having Peak 3 wrapped up like no one else, well, you know, he's keeping some pretty tough company these days. Stay tuned. There's a lot of noise over yesterday's announcement from Simon Stark. It seems the returning circuit veteran is proclaiming Peak 3 as his and no one else's. I'd like to see Simon prove that, actually. Stick around. This promises to get good. Here's a bit of inside info from the SSX circuit. Peak 3 has been done from top to bottom, and Simon Stark is saying there's not an inch of the peak that he hasn't ridden or mastered. Mastered. Sounds like a challenge to me. Anyone? Come on. Somebody take him up on it. Alright, here's the inside scoop from the circuit. A lot of talk going around lately about Zoe Payne proclaiming herself as master of Peak 2. Big talk considering the caliber of this year's talent. I wonder if anyone will take her down a notch. There's some SSX info for those of you listening in. Zoe Payne's been dropping some pretty heavy statements about Peak 2. Statements amounting to the fact that she basically owns the place. I'm kind of curious to see how the other riders feel about that. Here's some SSX info you won't be hearing anywhere else. Sounds like Rider Supreme Zoe Payne was mouthing off pretty loud about her mastery of Peak 2. Some pretty big words from a pretty crazy girl. It'll be interesting to see if anybody calls her on it. You're listening to Radio Big, and you're back with Radio Big. You're tuned to Radio Big. This is Radio Big. High above it all, you're with Radio Big. You're listening to EA Radio Big. You're back with Radio Big. Radio Big back again. Welcome back to Radio Big. Once again, this is Radio Big. We're back with EA Radio Big. You're listening to Radio Big. And you're back with Radio Big. You're tuned to Radio Big. This is Radio Big. I above it all, you're with Radio Big. You're listening to EA Radio Big. You're back with Radio Big. Radio Big back again. Welcome back to Radio Big. Once again, this is Radio Big. We're back with EA Radio Big. Stay tuned for all the latest news here on Radio Big. Stick around and catch the latest here on Radio Big. Make sure you stay with Radio Big for all your news. Check back for more here on Radio Big. Stay tuned with Radio Big for all your updates. Stay tuned right here to Radio Big. For all your mountain info, stay with Radio Big. We got everything you need right here on Radio Big. For all your alpine listening, stay with Radio Big. Stay tuned with Radio Big for everything you need to know on and off the mountain. Let's check in with our competitor spotlight. Although new to SSX, Allegra Sauvagesse has already made her name known throughout the events as a rider to be reckoned with. Stay tuned as we follow her through the circuit. Now for some competitor spotlight info. Even with this year's batch of competitors raising the bar considerably, industry experts are still expecting great things from the newcomer, Allegra Sauvagesse. Alright y'all, here's the latest with our competitor spotlight. The rebellious and determined Allegra Sauvagesse is getting some recognition as a frequent medalist and record breaker. Keep up on our latest developments here at Radio Big. Let's check in with our competitor spotlight. You know, she doesn't even need to be snowboarding to be successful. You know, she pretty much has millions of idiot guys around her all the time. There's no shortage of this, you know what I'm saying? If you haven't seen her yet, get on it, baby. Here's the competitor spotlight on Allegra Sauvagesse. Blasting onto the scene abruptly, she continues to prove critics wrong. Initially referred to as just another pretty face, Allegra is known for dominating every competition she enters. Here's the competitor spotlight on my girl Allegra Sauvagesse. This girl is kicking rider butt like it's on sale right now. Watching her ride is a complete treat. Her fans are eating it up, man. Do yourself a favor, check her out. You will not be disappointed. Now for some competitor spotlight info. Allegra Sauvagesse manages to rise above it all and just keeps turning heads, man. Racking up some impressive standings throughout the circuit. Nothing or no one seems to be getting in her way. Keep your eyes on this one. She's on fire. Let's check in with our competitor spotlight. Managing to catch a few by surprise, Allegra Sauvagesse is rocketing to the top of the circuit. Whatever she wants, she gets. Things are heating up on the slopes now. Allegra is becoming the focus of both the media and her fellow competitors. You better keep your eyes on her. The competitor spotlight continues with Allegra Sauvagesse. Quite a few callers ringing me up here at Radio Big asking all about SSX latest. Quite a few of them have
Shit.
coincidentally. Guys, get a life. Find a different hobby. Quit bugging me. Let's check in with our latest competitor spotlight. Canadian powerhouse Elise Riggs is back with the SSX circuit. Seems she's already on the way to making sure the veterans and newcomers alike are fully aware of her riding talents. This competitor spotlight is on my girl, Elise Riggs. things are going well for Elise this year. As she returns to the circuit with a vengeance, her riding is coming together in a big way as she adds even more wins to an already impressive record. Check this girl out, she's hot. Just take my word for it. What's happening with our competitors? It looks as though Elise Riggs has no intention of relinquishing her hard-fought success in the world of SSX. Once again, Elise has set her sights on nothing less than total alpine domination. This competitor spotlight is on Elise Riggs. Known for her impressive strength and stamina, this boarding Amazon is pegged by many as a strong favorite this time around for SSX medal contentions. Now for our competitor spotlight. To the delight of many, the statuesque dream shell known as Elise Riggs is back, baby. Yeah! If there was ever an icon for the sport, it is Elise. Talented, savvy, she possesses frightening drive. If you have anything for SSX women, it better be respect. So, competitor spotlight. Anything that comes to mind when watching SSX fighter Elise? Well, at least in my mind, killer hotness, maybe? I guarantee you, though, you won't catch me saying that proper. Elise is a rep for not suffering fools gladly, if you know what I'm saying. Check her out, you'll see what I mean. Here's the competitor spotlight on Elise Riggs. This year's circuit sees Elise Riggs returning in fine form. Whatever it is they feed those girls up there in the Great White North, it definitely seems to be getting the job done. Every inch the champion. Watch for Elise to be collecting golds like they're going out of style. The spotlight continues with Elise Riggs. Elise is an impressive package, I think is the best way to describe it. Looks, attitude, style, and most of all, power. Elise has it all seamlessly working for her. Catch her winning action as the circuit continues. Time for our competitor spotlight on the beautiful and talented Elise Riggs. Cruising into a series of wins, Elise further supports her title as the reigning queen of SSX. Reports continue to come in of Elise nailing event after event after event. Get on up there, girl. Go on and watch a circuit legend in action. Our competitor spotlight continues with Griff Simmons. There's not much this 12-year-old legend in the making can't handle. Shrugging off circuit jitters, he's giving the rest of our competitors a full-blown ride for their money. Keep an eye on this one. Now for some competitor spotlight info. What's fueled by sugar? Can't sit still for longer than a nanosecond and continuously seems to be getting his tongue stuck to the lip towers. That would be SSX newcomer and fan favorite. First need to watch out for this guy quick. Checking in with the competitor spotlight, we've got 12-year-old riding sensation, Griff Simmons. This kid continues to defy logic, blow minds, and have more fun than what's actually legally allowed here on the mountain. Here's hoping his never-ending enthusiasm for the sport continues to be so contagious. Checking in with the competitor spotlight, we have newcomer Griff Simmons. I don't know, maybe it's age, maybe it's sugar saturated brain that just doesn't register it, but this kid shows no fear. This guy's a favorite with the SSX fan. Griff puts on a show every time he rides dead. Check this kid out. Competitor spotlight moves on to highlight Griff Simmons. You know, I was lucky enough to catch Griff practicing up on P2. It's like this guy's got a nuclear reactor inside him or something. He's pumping out endless supplies of energy, man. Every second of every ride, he's in total vibration mode. It is awesome. Let's check in with our competitor spotlight. New to the circuit this year, 12-year-old Griff Simmons. The word is he can ride circles around a few of his fellow competitors, and actually, from what I hear, he already has. Apparently, a couple of the older, slightly crankier riders find Griff's non-stop jib a little bit tiring. Lighten up, Simon. What's up, buddy? The competitor spotlight focuses on newcomer Griff Simmons. You know, this is exactly what the SSX circuit needs right now. Young, crazy. This kid's a total joy to watch. He blows away the competition, and the hype is real, people. Griff is making a name for himself. He's establishing his rep as a champ in the making. Keep your eye on this kid. I'm not joking. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. So, Griff Simmons. I caught the kid in action yesterday. Amazing? This kid is so hyped up on sugar and adrenaline, he couldn't stop vibrating. Watching him in the finish area, he was literally bouncing off his fellow competitors. You gotta check this kid out. Checking in with the competitor spotlight, we have Griff Simmons. Again, Griff defies odds. He's just continuing this uncanny streak of success he's on. It's hard to believe he's barely 12. When I was his age, I just got the training wheels on my bike. Whatever this kid is eating, I want some. The hype with our latest competitor spotlight has media and fans alike buzzing about the new and improved Kaori Nishidaki. Always a competitor of obvious talent and drive, seems her riding this time around has progressed considerably in strength and in confidence. The competitor spotlight continues with returning rider Kaori Nishidaki. Once having the best laugh on the circuit. Cowrie once again brings her freshness, boundless energy, and talent into the SSX mix. Our competitor spotlight shifts gears now and focuses in on returning Japanese star Kaori Nishidaki. Looking as stylish as ever, Kaori seems to always have a consistent spot on the SSX podium. Watch out for this girl. Time now for our competitor spotlight. I recently had the pleasure of meeting returning pro Kaori Nishidaki. Since I don't, speak a lot of Japanese, I didn't really, actually catch a lot of what she's saying. But, there's a lot of laughing, smiling, and some really bad music in the background. Anyway, this girl can ride, man. Do yourself a favor, check this girl out. Kaori Nishidaki. If you don't know who Kaori is, pull your head out of the snowbank, okay? Stylish from her boots all the way up to her always funky hair. Kaori's become the ultimate celebrity in Japan. It's not hard to figure out why. Check out her riding, and you'll see what I mean. Our competitor spotlight turns now to Japanese riding sensation Kaori Nishidaki. There's always something I've wanted to ask Kaori myself. What exactly does she carry in those little backpacks she's always wearing? Anyways, she's back. She's looking fine. Do your best and check her out. Our competitor spotlight targets returning superstar Kaori Nishidaki. Whatever it was that Kaori was doing in the off-season, it's working, baby. She's not just doing well this time around on the circuit, she is dominating. Head on up and catch the latest action. Time now for our competitor spotlight on Kaori Nishidaki. A big-time fan favorite, Kaori looks to be adding to her series of wins. Watching her this morning, I can tell she's got gold on her mind. Tight riding, big airs, smooth tricks. Just go out there and see for yourself. Kaori Nishidaki's in our competitor spotlight. It's easy to find this returning SSX veteran in the finish area. Look for the crowd of media, single fans, and double shiny medals.
The stupid flying appointment yet again. It's like, this is like Candace. I go insane.
Seems Mac's skills off the mountain are getting him some well-deserved hype. Fans of his DJ work are lining up well in advance as he plays back-to-back shows tonight on the Day Shack. I'll be there. The competitor spotlight continues featuring Mac Fraser. A strong showing on last year's circuit had SSX fans wondering what the uber-talented Jibber will be bringing to the slopes this time around. Though Mac has his sights set on the gold, let's see if he can pull it off. Checking in with the competitor spotlight, we got Mac Fraser back again doing his thing. Interestingly enough, though, I caught Mac skating up a storm backstage at the Day Shack last night. The kid has some killer moves going on, baby. Fellow competitors, beware. Here's the latest in our competitor spotlight. Mac Fraser's thrown down some big spins on and off the mountain. I managed to sneak out, catch one of his sets last night at the Day Shack. I'm telling you, man, if this guy can ride like he DJs, he's got the circuit wrapped up, boy. Catch his riding, his music, or both. Time for the competitor spotlight on Mac Fraser. After a particularly stressful event, it seems Mac was letting off a little steam by throwing down some serious rail action. No surprise there, except for the fact that it was all over town. There was a staircase or deck that got away untouched. That's the way it should be when you live in the mountains. Let's check in with our competitor spotlight. Mac Fraser's back on the SSS circuit. You know what I'm saying? And from one of my many inside sources, he's staying alone this time. That's a big mountain hotel. Word is, Fraser's such an unbelievable slob that his usual circuit roommate Moby has had enough. Some people's kids, huh? Checking in with the competitor spotlight, we got Mac Fraser. Mac's got his brain in the right mode these days as he continues amassing some impressive wins. Watching him this morning warming up in the park, he was looking loose, he was looking smooth. Keep your eyes on him, you might miss him. What's happening with our SSX competitors, you ask? Well, apparently, an impromptu urban rail session with Mac Fraser and Simon Starr came to an abrupt end last night. Simon and a taxi ended up butting heads. The cab was sent to the shop, and, Simon will be right tomorrow. Yeah, there's someone I want to race against. Here's the latest in our competitor spotlight. Mac Fraser seems to be having the time of his life up here. Mac's enjoying some serious wins on the circuit, spinning up a storm at Day Shack, and getting some wicked backcountry riding in between events. You can catch Mac doing his thing on any of the three peaks. Mac Fraser's in our competitor spotlight. I had a chance to catch Mac in a rare moment yesterday, actually, doing nothing. Kicking back after a particularly sweet power run. Mac was taking a break. And when I asked what he had planned for the rest of the circuit, he smiled and said, "Gold, baby. Lots and lots of gold." Watch this guy closely. Time now for our competitor spotlight on Moby Jones. Originally from Brixton, England, Mr. Jones has been described by media and fellow riders alike as a riding machine. His past victories on the circuit have once again set him up as a sure bet for medal contention. Taking him with a competitor spotlight, we have riding superstar Moby Jones. Seems Moby's doing a little cross-training while in our town. Moby checked out JB's night bike ride yesterday and blew minds with his BMX skills. Unreal, most people can't ride one of those things on pavement. This guy does it on ice. It's crazy. The competitor spotlight continues with the dreadlocked funkifier, Moby Jones. I'm just thinking out loud here, so don't quote me on this, but does anyone else think there's something going on between Moby and Zoe? It would make sense, they do share the same blind hairdresser. He's the only guy I know who, isn't intimidated by her, and, well, I'm just thinking out loud. Moby Jones is in our competitor spotlight. Moby uses everything in his arsenal to psych out his competition, along with his top-notch skills and a level of fitness few can achieve. There's the lid. Have you seen this guy's mouth? It looks like a rabid snake's exploding out from under his helmet. I mean, I would find that a major distraction. Is that legal? Time for the competitor spotlight on Moby Jones. It's funny, when I think of, merry old England, snowboard superstars are the first thing that comes to mind. Illness caused by endless rain and really good comedy and bad teeth's kind of what I think of. But hey, Moby's kicking rider butt in everything he enters. Check out the circuit and see for yourself. Moby Jones is the focus of our competitor spotlight. It seems Moby's been hitting the weights because he's pulling some serious muscle busting up there, man. Showing up for this year's circuit, it's clear Moby's got his mind tuned to winning. He's ripping it up. Watch out. Let's check in with the latest competitor spotlight. SSX veteran and all-around nice guy Moby Jones is doing his winning thing up here at Big Mountain. Although the competition is fierce, Moby is making regular trips to the podium, and he's having a pretty good time to boot. Stay with us as we continue our coverage. The SSX competitor spotlight continues with Brit sensation Moby Jones. This dreadlocked master of the slopes is back to show his stuff on this year's SSX circuit. Although the level of competition is at an all-time high, Moby shows no signs of letting his fans down. Our competitor spotlight targets the skillful and talented Moby Jones. To the fans, he's a favorite. To his fellow competitors, a supportive ally or a strong enemy. His look of dreadlock funk always makes this guy a treat to watch. The competitor spotlight highlights new to the circuit, Nate Logan. I remember Nate from way back. First time I saw him take gold in a Colorado comp, I knew, man, this dude is going somewhere. Never-ending determination, stellar focus. It seems like nothing's out of Nate's reach. Yeah, definitely worth watching. Now for some competitor spotlight info. Nate Logan has smashed onto the riding scene with his wicked boarding and oak tree size. The big dude from Colorado is swooping up wins left, right, and center these days. If you're watching the circuit, you're gonna see him. Our competitor spotlight moves on to highlight Nate Logan. Originally from Colorado, Nate fought his way up the ranks to establish himself firmly in the circuit. I think it's safe to say we can expect big things from Nate. Let's check in with our competitor spotlight. Although new to SSX, Nate Logan has already made his name known throughout as a rider to be reckoned with. Stay tuned as we follow him through the circuit. This competitor spotlight is on Nate Logan. Known for his impressive strength and determination, this Colorado native is pegged by many as a strong favorite in the SSX medal contentions. Let's check in with our competitor spotlight. Nate Logan's new to the circuit, and he's got some killer talent. He brings some mountain size. How good is it gonna get when you have someone with Nate's muscle meeting the twisted mind of someone like Simon, you know what I'm saying? Today in Alpine Paradise, tomorrow at Shard Wasteland. Cool. Nate Logan is the focus of our competitor spotlight. I've met Nate a couple times now. He's pretty big. He's friendly. Surprisingly intelligent, and has that, that just happy to be here vibe going on, but, start talking about the circuit, that casual vibe turns into something a little more hard-edged. Pay attention to this kid and take my advice. Colorado native Nate Logan. There was a time when Nate only had one board. He managed to maintain the thing through 2 seasons of competition. Then when the sponsors came calling, he had that board mounted in his living room, right above his collection of medals. Keep your eye on him. Let's check the competitor spotlight on Nate Logan. I managed to catch some race action the other day and watched as Nate pulled off some pretty amazing moves. Don't let his super size fool you. This guy can turn on a dime. He can snake line faster than anyone I've seen so far. Check out the goods. You know what I'm saying? Time now for our competitor spotlight on Simon Stark. Stunts like being accidentally electrocuted while jumping his bike over power lines sum up Simon fairly accurately. His reputation as a wild man is accurate as his status as one of the circuit's fiercest competitors. Watch this guy closely. Here's the competitor spotlight on Simon Stark. No one really knows if all his flash is a carefully planned performance or a natural wildness threatening to spill over. Media and fans alike will be watching closely to see how he does this time around on the SSX circuit. Checking in with the competitor spotlight, we have returning wildman Simon Stark. This year his riding seems to be faster, it's a lot looser, his airs, they're not just astonishing, they're frightening, baby. You gotta ask yourself, is this the time Simon goes too far? Time now for our competitor spotlight on returning rider Simon Stark. 2 nights ago, I caught Simon dancing up a storm at the Day Shack. Best way to describe it, tornado-like. Hey man, when that guy grooves to a tune, nothing's breaking his concentration. I heard he rides that way too, alright? Watch out. Now for some competitor spotlight info. You know, each one of Simon's tattoos, and there are some that rarely see the light of day here, okay? They're all designed and drawn by Simon first. Each one has layers of history and personal meaning. And if you happen to get close enough, ask him what each one means. Go ahead. No, really, I dare you. I double dog dare you. The competitor spotlight moves to Simon Stark. Not only is Simon racking up wins and busting records for fun, he's making fellow competitors think twice about getting too close. He's all about the competition all the time. Dangerous. You'll see what I mean. This competitor spotlight features returning rider Simon Stark. Why does Simon stand out so much? You know, is it the tattoos? Maybe. The combat-inspired that hair. I like to think that it's his results, probably, you know, win after win after win after win. Man is unstoppable. Time now for our competitor spotlight. Creepy, freaky, wicked, cool. Watching Simon's like watching a natural disaster in the making. His riding is on a new level this time around. Catch the weirdness. Our competitor spotlight now turns to feature Vigo Rolling. Is this guy for real? Man. He's mobbed by the ladies in the finish line, man. Cameras flashing like mad. Neckload of medals to fly home with it. It took me off except for the fact, you know, he's such a nice guy. Talented and cool. Rare combination. Check it out, what I mean. Here's the competitor spotlight on Vigo Rolling. Blasting onto the North American scene, fresh from living it up across Europe. Vigo's already making a name for himself in the SSX circuit. On and off the mountain, his antics are drawing attention. Check him out. Let's check in with our competitor spotlight. Vigo Rolling has already made his name known throughout the events as a rider to watch closely. Stay tuned as we follow this guy through the circuit. Now for some competitor spotlight info. Industry experts are expecting great things from newcomer Vigo Rolling. After winning competition after competition all throughout Europe, Vigo has arrived with SSX Gold firmly in sight. This competitor spotlight is on Vigo Rolling. This up-and-coming superstar is making a name for himself quickly throughout the circuit. According to a few waitress friends of mine, he's also making a name with our town's female population, breaking records and breaking hearts. When I grow up, I want to be just like Vigo. The competitor spotlight turns to focus on Vigo Rolling. The media have been using such words as mischievous, hyped, boisterous to describe both his riding and his personality. I went a little bit deeper and asked one of his fellow competitors, and what did Zoe have to say? 20 pounds of cool in a 5-pound bucket. Yeah. Let's check the competitor spotlight on Vigo Rolling. He actually dropped by last night on his way to, you know, a party that most of us can only dream of going to. Friendly, outgoing, I'd even say, you know, a little slightly oblivious to it all. The guy is constantly on, though. He told me how happy he is to be here on the SSX circuit and how much he enjoys hanging out with his fellow riders. Nice guy. Check out his riding. Checking in with the competitor spotlight, we've got Vigo Rolling. Whatever's in the water over there, you can make a fortune bottling it and selling it to Vigo's competitors. The young Swede continues his reign of wildness on and off the slopes. Watch him once and you're hooked. The competitor spotlight's on Vigo Rolling. Talking with Vigo is one thing. He constantly cracks me up, but watching him ride, You know somebody who's going into SSX history. There's no doubt about it. Take a look for yourself. Let's see what the fuss is about. This competitor spotlight is on Zoe Payne, known for her standout style and complete individualism. Zoe's back to make her mark in the SSX circuit. A wild and unpredictable ride. Someone always gets hurt when she's around. You notice that? Do yourself a favor, check her out. What's happening with our SSX competitors? Looks as though Zoe Payne is back to continue her long-time winning streak. Although competition is fierce on this circuit, many are pegging Zoe as a strong contender. A strong showing in the past has SSX fans looking forward to Zoe's riding with huge anticipation. Never one to disappoint. Zoe is making no small deal out of her plans to dominate this year's circuit. Stay tuned to see what happens. This competitor spotlight is on Zoe Payne. I feel confident in saying Zoe will be kicking butt and taking names all over the three bigs today. Watching her ride the other day, I gotta tell you, there was something there. Something fresh, something focused, baby. Expect big things from Miss Payne. Check out the competitor spotlight, we find Zoe Payne. Zoe once told me she breeds adrenaline, and anyone who's seen her ride would definitely agree. But here's something very few people know. Zoe has an incredible singing voice. She really does. She's the real deal. I'm rooting for you, Zoe. Call me, baby. Our competitor spotlight now turns to Zoe Payne. I think I speak for the whole station here when I say we love Zoe. We love everything about her, baby. Riding, clothes, attitude. Zoe has got it on, you know what I'm saying? We here at Radio Big will be watching her very closely, as we always have. And we always will. Our competitor spotlight moves on to highlight Zoe Payne. What's the best way to describe Zoe? How about crazy, ultra talented, and definitely smoking hot. And with the latest circuit results coming in, and consistent winner and all-around butt kicker. Join the army of Zoe fans and check her out. The competitor spotlight's on Zoe Payne. The way I see it, if you're gonna win, you might as well look good doing it. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, no one is looking better than Zoe, okay? Her uber hotness moves ahead of the pack with an ever-growing collection of medals. See for yourself. The competitor spotlight turns to Zoe Payne, gifted musician, legendary mountain bike rider, and according to the latest circuit standings, SSX leader to boot. Zoe's having a sweet year with her riding, vastly improving from last year's circuit go-round. Check out Zoe's latest moves anywhere on the Three Peaks. Here's the latest in circuit news. Allegra Soberges is doing particularly well these days. This being her first go-around with SSX, I think it's safe to say we'll be keeping a right tab on Allegra. To hear it all, stay right here on Radio Big. Checking in with circuit news, we have Allegra Soberges cleaning up with wins all over the mountain. As things continue to go from good to astounding with the talented newcomer, Radio Big will be bringing you the latest in Allegra developments. Here's some circuit news for those of you listening. Allegra Soberges is letting everybody know just how bad she wants that gold as a serious winning roll continues. Radio Big will be bringing you that special boarded goodness as it happens. Time now for the latest in circuit news. Allegra Soberges continues to do what she does best. Kick snowboard butt. With wins all over the mountain, Radio Big will be keeping a close eye on Allegra. Stick around. Okay, y'all, here's what's happening on the circuit. It seems Allegra Soberges has been making a big name for herself lately. As more and more wins fall into her lap, Radio Big will be attempting to keep up with her. Stay with us as we stay on top of it all. Here's the latest circuit updates. Allegra, the girl's got a pretty stellar future ahead of her, I'm telling you. Seems there's nothing and absolutely no one getting in her way. Keep at it, Allegra. Man, you got our attention. We're back with the latest in circuit news. I gotta tell you, I am digging young Allegra's riding these days. This is a level of riding I haven't seen in a long time. Big things are coming Allegra's way, I pretty much guarantee you that. Here's the latest in circuit news. If you're looking for a sure win to bet on, anybody? A good move would be to drop it all on Allegra. I'm telling you, I'm seeing nothing but gold ahead of her. That'll go, Allegra. You just keep doing what you're doing, baby. Some SSX updates for those of you listening in. It's getting pretty tough to ignore Allegra Soberges. For a newcomer, she's making sure no one's going to be forgetting her name. Stay with Radio Big as we follow her domination over the rest of the circuit. There's the latest in circuit news. Elise Riggs is doing pretty well these days. A returning SSX veteran who's kicking mass butt. I think it's safe to say we'll be keeping a running tab on Miss Riggs. To hear it all, stay tuned right here at Radio Big. There's the latest circuit update. Elise, the girl's She's got a solid gold career ahead of her, I'm telling you. Seems there's nothing, definitely no one getting in her way. Keep at it, Elise. You are owning this mountain, girl. Checking in with some circuit news. We've got Elise Riggs dominating. She's got wins all over the mountain. As things continue to go from good to better for the talented Canadian, Radio Big will be bringing you all the latest in Elise developments. Here's what's happening on the mountain. It seems Elise Riggs has been making a big impact at the circuit lately. As more and more wins fall her way, Radio Big will be there to report on it all. Stay with us as we stay with Elise. Here's some circuit news for those of you listening in. Elise Riggs is pretty much letting everybody know SSX Gold belongs to her. As a serious string of wins continues, Radio Big will be bringing you the latest updates as they happen. Time now for the latest in circuit news. Elise Riggs